Right, Mr. Moses Tule, the CBN Director, Monetary Policy Department. Thank you very much for your facts and figures. We wish we could take more of you. But right now, I have to hand over to the moderator who's really itching to start. So the tone has been set. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. What I think we should do today, and if you look at the title, I'm sure you didn't get the paper that was shared when Mr. Tule began to speak. If you looked at his, the title of his paper, at the end of it, he talked about an exchange rate policy. And I think for me, that is the crux of the matter. As he has admitted, devaluation may come at some point. So I don't think the debate here today should be about the fixation of whether we devalue or whether we don't devalue. So I'm going to ask my panelists to really come from a perspective that truly opens this debate in a broader sense, so that, as I said earlier, we can avoid and get away from the trap of devaluation or no devaluation. All over the world, every item has its price, and there isn't any item today that you can say has had a fixed price. Even debt is not the same every year. So I would like to just go very, very quickly. If you look at the challenge that we have today, the challenge we have today is that oil prices have fallen, and so foreign exchange earnings by Nigeria has gone down, as His Excellency said, to something in the neighborhood of 700 million or $1 billion in a month. And yet, we have to service our industries. We have to get raw materials. His members have to be at the plant for them to be members of the Labour Congress. I think we have to find a way to create a balance. And I think for me, that is how we must go today. I'm going to ask our Labour leader, a very good friend of mine. We've had our debates, and I can say that on many issues we find common grounds. I'm going to ask Mr. Aremu to kick off this afternoon with his own contribution. An economist, a Labour leader for whom I have the greatest respect. Mr. Aremu.
Well, I think I would like to also add my voice to, very good, robust contributions that have been made, led by Comrade Governor, and I think once a comrade, always a comrade. And he partly has articulated some of the positions that I don't have to raise. Now, that would be unfair to Labour. But the quick point I want to raise is that I think it's important that we have a conversation. We should have a dialogue instead of monologue. And I think I listened very well to the CBN presentation, and I thought we should have had that presentation much more earlier, because they have the numbers and they are the ones who have the responsibility to safeguard the value of the Naira. I think that's the key word. Their mandate is to safeguard the value of the Naira. I think it's important to listen to. And when after listening to CBN, I think I want to say that it's not Naira that is on trial, it's Nigeria economy that is on trial. Because Naira, the best of value of any currency, is a function of its economy, and I think maybe it's important that we need to think outside the box of the fixation about the value of the Naira, to look at the real economy, whether we're actually running the economy. But the question is that whether to devalue Naira or not. From the point of view of Labour, I want to give you some numbers. And I think I also want to tell the CBN, when you are looking at the macroeconomic environment, you have a lot of numbers on the interest rates, the price of capital. You have a lot of numbers on capital market. I think it's important you also think of labor market. And I think Simon labor market is a specialized study. I think it's important. I'm raising this point because I was looking at the numbers, and I discovered that there's once in Nigeria, with apology to Chinua Achebe, when Naira value, Naira was twice the value of US dollars. And today, the official figure is about 197 to 1 US dollar. What does it mean for real wages? And I look at the last time we signed the last minimum wage, 18,000, which is the current rate, 2009, 2010. Naira was, Naira exchanged for 124 Naira for US dollars. And when we were signing that agreement, I think 145, 2010, we arrived at $120 for minimum wage. And we said, okay, this was doable. No, listen to me. This was doable. And we said we can be competitive. Organized private sector was party to this. NECA, Manufacturing Association of Nigeria, and even CBN gave us some statistics. That was 18,000 Naira. Now, on account of depreciation from then, devaluation of the Naira, the last calculation we've done now, this $124 has dropped to less than $60. So wages have been completely eroded on account of devaluation. And if you take the parallel market, which the lady is much more concerned about, it's even far, far worse than that. Now, what I'm raising here is that in nominal terms, if we have to talk of just on the account of exchange rate, I think the current 18,000 should be about 48,000 Naira. And I'm living with this thought because if you dare devalue again, then you are sure that labor will have to also ask its own price in the market. I mean, that is just clear-cut issue that we'll talk about. Now, so the point I'm raising here is that I think it's important that we move out from this one-cap-fits-all mentality for Nigeria economy, devalue the currency, which is not really helpful. And you also raise this point, Frank. Everybody keep on repeating this as a buzzword. The price of oil had dropped. And I had CBN talking of major shock. Now close to 28, what's the current price? $31 or so. And I asked myself, the price was as low for crude oil, as low as between $9 and $10 under Abacha. That was more than a major shock. That was a drastic shock. Dropped up to $10. And yet, the current exchange rate was around $22. 22 Naira to US dollars within that period. So I think there's no, and I think this is what Comrade Adams was raising, there's no substitute to good governance. You don't leave development agenda to the so-called imaginary market forces. Somebody has to be on duty. And I want to commend President Buhari, what he has done with TSA alone, just to mop up the account of the public accounts from thousands of diverse accounts. We're now talking of 2.3 trillion naira that have been mopped up, in the public accounts. The internally revenue taxes is also going up. So what I'm saying is that I think those are the issues we must consider. How do we diversify this economy in a way that we enhance productivity and make sure that we enhance the real value of the naira? We must move from container economy to productive economy. You have crude oil, you are exporting the crude oil, and importing petroleum products. That is the major item that is depressing the naira. I think we should consider those fundamental issues instead of having fixation about the value of the naira, which already is actually depressed and is undermining the earning capacity of the working people. Thank you.
I thought it was going to be the easiest to manage because it's closer to me. It's not at all. We have Bismarck and, of course, Dr. Wan to intervene. So I'm going to ask him. I would have specific questions for the panelists in the second round. I just want them to make very brief opening remarks for about 3 minutes. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce represents a very large industrial commercial entity in Nigeria. And I guess that as a group, you have your own perspectives. Can you just share some of it with us at this point? And as I said earlier, we will come to take some specific questions after this. I think there's a mic close to you. There should be one.